Okay, we're back here at, I'm being photobombed. So we're back here at the King Street Station, and I'm getting dropped off by Amaya. And hey, Chrissy, where are you? There you are. And get to ride back on down to Bakersfield and on my way to Tehachapi.
They'll be right upstairs and right.
Back on the train. I'm getting that sense of deja vu, except this time I don't feel like I'm coming down with a head cold on the way, which is good. Heading down to Bakersfield here from Seattle, and going to from there I'll have to catch a bus out. I actually have like 3 transfers on this journey. It's a little less straightforward than just going straight to San Diego, but won't take as long. About a 28-hour journey all told, but kind of looking forward to getting back on the trail, stretching my legs out. I have started on my anti-inflammatory medication course, and already I can feel a difference. It's started to reduce the inflammation significantly, and it comes and goes. Just took another round, and I can tell I actually started losing some of the numb sensation in my foot pad and toe, which is really good. I'm going to take my shoes off and keep my feet up while I'm going down, and got a 7-day course. I'm on day 2. Hopefully we can knock some of this good inflammation down so that when I'm on the trail, I'm not doing it with a numb foot. I made it to Tehachapi last night. It was a long day. I was kind of tired. Doing all those transfers and everything tired me out, and there was really no good spot to get any food, so I just ate some snacks that I brought with me, so I was kind of hungry when I got to town. Ate up a full meal there, and got all my stuff together, and I guess I'm getting ready to head out to the trail. Kind of a weird feeling going back out. I'm excited, but for whatever reason I got a little anxiety. I don't know why. Probably because I'm not used to doing it now. But I am excited to get back out there because my legs feel like they're ready to go. Foot is feeling better. It's not 100%. I still have numbness in the pad and in the middle 3 toes from that neuroma, but the course of oral anti-inflammatories that I'm taking seem to be doing the job, at least on day 1. They really hit it, but any type of steroidal anti-inflammatories, you have to taper it down as you take them. So doing a little bit less, but have some more to bring out on the trail with me, and it's supposed to be getting up to 91 today, so the cold temperatures that I left, I'm not coming back to. Well, be good to finish out the desert and head on up to Kennedy Meadows. Cool. I have made it back to where I was let off, and now it's exciting because, like, hey, I know this spot. This is where I just was. The big difference is I'm not freezing. The wind turbines don't look like they're blowing like they'll blow you off the mountain, and looks like it's gonna be a nice day. A little bit warmer today, but I got my sunscreen on, and I think I am ready to go. So excited to get back out on the trail on down yonder. So cool. Here we go. I've made it about, I don't know, I think 4.5 miles down the trail thus far. And when I last left this trail, I was wishing for less wind and warmer temperatures. Well, I got my wish. It's about 50 degrees warmer than when I left, and there was almost no wind. So there you go. It's been fun climbing up in the heat, all uphill. It's about a 5-mile climb out of town, which I was worried about getting my trail legs back, but at this point it feels like I need to get my trail lungs back. I don't feel so bad because there's some other PCT hikers out here that didn't take the break I did, and they're suffering going up the hill too, although they're doing a little bit better than me. But I found this little shady spot here to relax for a moment, fill up my water bottle because I'm drinking a lot more water than when I left. Still have another 13 or so miles to water, or supposedly reliable water. Better be, otherwise I'm going to have a meager water carry. Okay, but still feels good to be out here, and I'm actually glad for the heat. It's nice to experience the desert section for what the desert section is, which is kind of hot and water management and that sort of thing. I feel like I've experienced the chilly life, and it's kind of nice to deal with something else that's different. So that's kind of fun. I'm going to probably get up early tomorrow, I think, and start doing a little bit earlier morning hike, just so that I can avoid some of the heat. Who knew going downhill would be much easier? And there's a little bit of a breeze up here, so that's kind of nice to keep one cool. And I certainly like the change in scenery that I have now with more trees and more trees. Always been plenty of brush, but I like the trees. So this is kind of nice, and I'm making better time now and feeling pretty good. Foot is holding. I've been stopping a little more often just to take a rest, one for my legs and lungs, but I did stop when my feet got a little toasty and found a shady spot and cooled my feet off, which definitely helped them, because when I get hot, that starts to, I think that inflames them a bit, and this ground gets hot. This sign right here says caution. I don't know what the caution's for, but I guess I'll look out for something. Oh, there's a little wooden thing here, and it looks like a road crossing. So that's their caution. I can't imagine that this gets a whole bunch of traffic up here on this little dirt road. Okay, well, that adventure, that excitement was over. I was worried there for a moment. Whew. This second climb is not fun. I've been a lot thirstier out here than I might have thought, and I'm going through the water. Maybe it's all that sweating, but I got another 2 miles up this hill, and then I've got like 3.2 downhill to a spring, so a little over 5 to a spring that someone as of 2 days ago said was flowing well. So I hope nothing's changed, because I'm down to maybe a liter, and I could probably drink it all right now, but I'm rationing it. I would kill for an ice cold Gatorade right now. That would be awesome, but I'll take spring water even if it's warm. I have 1.9 miles to get to the spring. Golden Oak, I think it's called. So, good thing is it's mostly downhill, because if it were all uphill, I'd be suffering, because all I've got left as far as water is this, and that's for my last 2 miles. I'm not too worried that the spring won't be running, because apparently it only dries up in really dry years, and that is not this year, so I'm not too concerned about it. If it happened, that would be bad, considering it's 19 miles to the next spring. But I think it'll be good. I am looking forward to getting there. For those of you who are fans of the book and/or movie Wild, Tehachapi is where Cheryl Strayed started her hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. And I've been thinking about that because I started with a pack that was just under 40 pounds with all the water in it. And just going up that first segment was a doozy. And I'm down to the last little bits of my water, and it's kind of tough. And I've done 566 miles, well, more than that now, but I'd started with that all under my belt, a little time off, but still, I'd had some training in. You've got to give some respect to her for not quitting on that first hill, especially with her pack monster. I don't know how heavy it was, but considering packs of that era were typically 60 pounds plus. It could have been 80 pounds or something, who knows, but that's insane. So if I'm tempted to complain at all, I just remember that this is the easy way to do it, and I'm doing it in one day. I don't know if she had to camp on the way or if she could make it 17 miles on the first day. I doubt it. That's a rough day with a heavy pack like that. I'm officially out of water, but luckily I have 0.1 miles to go. It's kind of getting greener in here, so it makes me think water somewhere. I am so thirsty. It'll be good to get some water. Whew. Someone built a shelter. It's kind of wild. Well, if it were raining, you could actually sleep in there no problem. Although, it looks fairly rickety. I don't think I'd want to trust that pole. I decided to set up my tent near the spring. It's only 17 miles today, but I wanted to take it easy on my first day, see how my toe feels in the morning, see how my legs feel in the morning. I totally feel like I could, do more miles, and I thought about going ahead forward to another campground, but I thought, I found a spot up the hill from the springs, and so I thought, why not? I'll stay here. I can make sure I have a full water in the morning. It's 18.9 miles to the next spring. So I'm going to get up really early and hike when it's cooler, and that'll help with that whole water carry thing. I think it's going to get a little bit windier as go that way, but we shall see. I got to test out my new tent stakes. This ground is super hard, and there is no way I could have gotten my other stakes in the ground. They just would have bent. There's no way I would have had to move on or wrap them around a rock or something. It just wouldn't have worked. But here, they're hammered in, tent's all taut, worked really well. And I'm camped right next to this creepy thing. So hopefully whoever lives there doesn't come here tonight. I got up at 3:30 this morning and got ready. Took a little longer. I drove my tent stakes in a little too far into the ground, so it was a challenge getting them out. So don't do that, especially in super hard ground like that. But filled up on my water, so I've got a way too heavy pack, but I didn't want to run out. I want to be able to drink as much as I wanted, even though I'm going to try to knock out some miles while it's still relatively cool. Slept pretty warm last night. very warm. I think it finally got down to around 68 degrees around 2:30, according to my Garmin. That's the schedule. And I actually had to throw my quilt over me because with the wind blowing through, it was a little chilly because I was just sleeping in underwear. Didn't need any sleep clothes for last night because it was still nearly 80 degrees when I was going to bed. So definitely not something where I need to add on layers of warmth. It is nice getting up in the morning though and not freezing your butt off. So I appreciate that. I spoke to a guy yesterday who, you know, obviously I'm about 3 weeks late, so I've got a whole new crop of hikers that are coming through. And I asked him about the wind in the last section because, you know, it was hellacious for me. And he's like, oh yeah, it was a little bit of a breeze, kind of like I've got right here. I was expecting gale force winds, and it's been, you know, some winds, but not too bad. Wind last night, but not too bad. So that was what he had in the last section. So apparently being there during storm time makes a difference. Just comparing notes with him too, Mission Creek, where it was sunny and went through all the obstacle course, I had sun and relatively nice day. He had a hailstorm. So it's funny what you'll get at different times. This hill is a doozy. I only have about a half mile left to go on it, which seems like forever, but it's tough going up it with the heat. I do have my sun umbrella, which really does help for the direct sunlight, but it's still kind of like getting slowly roasted because of the heat, and then your body temperature already goes up climbing the hill. Luckily, there's a breeze occasionally, but most of the time it's pretty still, which makes it feel even hotter. But woo! Once I get to the top of this hill, it's a short ways down. There's a pass there that I think might be a good place to have lunch and relax. I might wait a couple hours and wait for the midday heat to die down a little bit. Ooh! You take advantage of these little shady spots when you can find them. "600 miles. I think I'm going to celebrate here by sitting and resting a bit. Whew, it's warm. I have a climb now to the spring, which is like 2 miles away. Not really looking forward to 2 miles uphill in the sun. But I do have my sun umbrella, and I have a whole 0.7 liters. I hope that's going to be enough to make it up the hill. Of course, I could down the whole thing right now, but don't want to do that. Need to ration it. As usual, I will be thirsty when I get there, but that's this segment in a nutshell. Heat and springs are apart from one another.
Thankfully after this, there's kind of a stream that you can get water at every so often up until Landers Spring, I think it is. And after that, it looks kind of like it could be a ways. So I'm going to look and see how best to handle that one, because I don't know how many miles after Landers Spring I'm going to have to go before I can get water. But it looks like it's considerate. We can a considerable distance. Okay, I think I'll have a drink of water. It seems to me it would have been cheaper to buy a new length of chain versus splicing it together with how many locks? It's not even 8 in the morning and it's already getting hot. Ooh. Luckily I have a little downhill right here. Ended up staying at the spring last night. There's only 19 miles, but I didn't feel like there was necessarily the need to push forward and dry camp anywhere. So I've got 7 miles today to the next spring. And then there's a challenge. It's 35 miles to the next reliable water. And about halfway through that, sometimes there's a water cache, but I'm not going to rely on that. I never rely on water caches. That's a way to get in trouble. I know people have been saying, as of 2 days ago, there were 14 jugs of water there still, 14 5-gallon. But in my experience, with all the people relying on the water caches, they burn it up and then go there and do a complete water fill. So it burns faster than you think. They're not just topping off. So I don't want to rely on that. My thought was, is you can take it leisurely to Landers. There's a little campground there. And maybe 3 hours and some change in the heat, because I stop more often when it gets super hot. And I'll get there late morning or something and maybe just hunker down and maybe set up my tent and try to get some sleep. And a little squirrel on the trail. And then head out in the evening. Maybe 5 o'clock would be good. So if I relax there for like 4 or 5 hours or more, then I can head out and do a night hike and maybe just hike all night. It should be cool. The views won't be great, but the heat won't be melting me, because it's amazing how much the heat saps your strength. Going up the hills is a lot harder. Probably doesn't help that I'm just getting back on the trail, but it could be the water carry, it could be a number of things. But we'll go with heat. So if I try to do that tonight, that means I've got a 35-mile stretch to the next water, which that'd be the longest day I've done, or night and morning. But that kind of sounds like the best plan for me right now. I don't really relish trying to get out in the middle of a ridgeline or something. Right now, I'm lucky that there are trees and stuff, so it gives some shade, but I don't know what it's going to be like on that. And if you get out 17 miles and it's just pure exposed, even without a sun umbrella, it just gets hot and you end up burning up the water a lot faster than you'd think you would. And I do not want to be out at mile 25 or something with 9 miles left to go and absolutely no water. And based on what I've seen thus far, I wouldn't make it to mile 25. I can make it about 20 miles in this heat, and that's with breaks during the hot spell. So that's about it. I wasn't expecting to see a little stream running through here. I'd heard that there was some water in some areas, but that it was spotty, but it's not spotty at all. Be nice if this continued in that 35-mile stretch, but alas, no. Yeah, I actually have a water crossing. This is a nice change. I didn't realize I would be climbing so much, and I'm up around 7,000 feet, so the trees are out and it's a little bit cooler. I'll have to check and see what that 35-mile stretch is, see if it's same elevation, but I think it actually drops down into a pass, so I think I'll stick with my same plan. But it's been real nice this morning. Little breeze and trees, so got some shade. I'll take it. I'm about an hour ahead of schedule from what I thought I might do. I didn't really need to stop too much. That was an enjoyable hike, actually. This morning, got it from elevation, cooled down, a little breeze, and it wasn't all uphill in the sun. So that's nice. I'll have to hit Lander's Camp here, and there should be a spring, so I can get some water, and I think I'll rest for a bit if I can find a good spot. This should be a good resting place for a few hours.